With that note, let's get started. All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you would, for now, just please mute your mic. And we encourage exchanges in the chat box. Please match your Zoom name to your given name. And as many of you've done already, if you've introduced yourself in the chat box and you've told us where you're from. I'm Dr. Roger Firestein. I'm Associate Professor Emeritus here at the Center for Applied Imagination at Buffalo State University. And we are absolutely delighted that we're welcoming over 250 participants from across the United States and from around the world. I want to give you a little history to those folks that are joining us today and kind of a little review from what we talked about yesterday. We began the Creativity Expert Exchange in the early 1990s. And the idea was to have faculty and alumni and current students share their research, share their practice, share some of their interest, and keep them reconnected. Because as Dr. Keller Mathers mentioned yesterday, this program, people don't usually want to leave. They want to stay here. And so this is an opportunity for them to do that. Over the years, we decided to expand the conference to include people that were doing interesting work in creativity, in addition to the faculty, the staff, the alumni of the program. So then 5 years ago, we went virtual and have stayed virtual because we're able to reach so many more people at a much more reduced cost and reach across the globe. So it was interesting when I got up this morning, it was like, I get this wonderful day with all these wonderful people, and I don't have to leave my house. But I will be leaving my house a little bit later today, and we'll let you know about that just a little bit. When we use the word expert, we mean people that are working in the field of creativity, that are training creativity and innovation, that are doing research and innovation, or those people that are passionate about their own creativity. And if that's you, you are in the right place. So over the course of our two-day exchange, we're featuring two keynote speakers. We had a wonderful keynote speaker yesterday, an amazing keynote speaker coming up today, 17 sessions and 22 presenters. So as a way to get started, please keep your mics and cameras. Here's what we like to do. Keep your mics off, but keep your cameras on, all right? Because we want to see your faces. And when I do these sessions, I like to have both of them on. So let us see your faces. We love that. It gives us great energy. The link for the current sessions have been provided. Also, they'll be showing up in the chat. All the sessions are going to be recorded and they will be made available later. Thank you, Dr. Keller Mathers, for keeping the presenters on course and making sure that we do that. And if you don't want to be recorded, just keep your mic and your camera off. There we go. Let's keep going here. Our keynote address is going to begin in just a few minutes. And then we're going to have a meal break from 11:30 to 12:15 New York time. And for those of you that are interested in the graduate program or the executive credential or the advanced credential or the master's program, Dr. Udis and Dr. Puccio are going to be available to chat in a designated Zoom room during the meal break today. It's a different Zoom room than what we're in right now. And that room is going to be in the chat. There it is. And in the document we posted on the chat. Concurrent sessions then begin at 12:15, well, I'm sorry, 12:15, 12:15, and then at 2:15, 2 o'clock, both concurrent sessions. The links to the concurrent sessions are found on the website and in the program we posted in the chat. And we hope you'll join us for the closing of C today from 2:15 to 2:45 in the main C room. As we did yesterday, and we want to just give special thanks to Dr. David Yates, the CEE committee, Maddie McDaniel, Kristen Peterson, Melissa Wild, Melissa Riome, and our current session presenters. One more thing, for those of you that are local, we invite you to join us at the Richardson Hotel Bar from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. today. The Richardson Hotel is the wonderful Richardson complex just south of Buffalo State. Please be there. It's going to be a wonderful time. All right. We're going to be hosting a graduate program orientation session on April 4th from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the New York time zone. That link will be in the chat box, or you can just use the QR code here. We have a mini C coming up. We do a variety of these. The next one coming up is going to be with Bronco Brookman and Liz Monroe Cook. Where the date has not been announced, but we will give you a further announcement soon on that. Also, these will be in the chat. Please stay in touch with us to sign up on our mailing list. Here's the link: LinkedIn, Facebook, the YouTube channel, and first information on our distance program. You can also see that there. As I mentioned yesterday, in the spirit of sharing cutting edge research on creativity with as many people as we can, this conference is free. It's one of our commitments to the world to get this, folks, out to as many people as we can. But we have costs, all right? We pay an honorarium to our keynote presenters, but the remainder of the presenters donate their time. The faculty of the center organize and present this in addition to their busy schedule of teaching, advising, and research. So I'm appealing to you to donate so we can continue to provide an extraordinary event to you so that we can do that again next year. If you haven't donated yet, you can still make a donation through Eventbrite. You can use the same link that you used to register for CEE. That's going to be available through next Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Because the way the system is set up, you just need to re-register, select the donation level that's comfortable to you, and do that. And once again, a special thanks for all of you that are already donated and for all of you that have done so many contributions of your time, your resources, and your energy. We received a little over $1,000 in donations, and we appreciate that, really appreciate that. Also, if you'd mark your calendar right now for the next Creativity Expert Exchange, we're planning already for 2026. That's March 6 and 7. So save the date on that as a Thursday and a Friday. So. Okay, enough of me. All right. I get to participate, which I'm very excited about. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Gerard Puccio, SUNY Distinguished Professor, Director of the Center for Applied Imagination, Chair of the Department of Creativity and Change Leadership at Buffalo State University, a recognized airline pilot, has been to the moon 3 times, and has walked underwater and can hold his breath for 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gerard Puccio.
Dr. Roger Firestein.
We're on fire this
Wow, what an
morning, huh?
introduction. You're full of surprises. Where are the finger puppets you promised?
Oh, they're coming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought in lieu of video this morning we were going to have finger puppets, but I guess you're using your imagination to expand my bio. So thank you very much, Dr. Firestein.
You're welcome, Dr. Puccio.
My pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. KH Kim. I had the delightful experience of being in a roundtable, Torrance Roundtable in the summer of 2024, where a number of us, a good half dozen of us, delivered keynotes in celebration of the legacy of Paul Torrance. And I have to say, I was immensely impressed with Dr. Kim's presentation, and she was kind enough to accept an invitation to present the keynote for day 2 of our Creativity Expert Exchange. So before introducing her talk, let me revisit the purpose of the Creativity Expert Exchange and how the keynotes fit into this purpose. Given the history of our center, the Center for Applied Imagination, we strive to maintain a polarity between theory and practice, or said differently, between research and application. Theory without practice runs the risk of being impractical, and practice without theory runs the risk of being superficial. This is a tricky polarity, but I believe it is at the core of our work and what truly distinguishes our center, the Center for Applied Imagination, and makes our educational programs truly transformative. As an aside, as Roger mentioned, and we hardly ever refer to each other as Dr. So-and-so, as Roger mentioned, our next mini Creativity Expert Exchange will feature the topic of polarities with Liz Monroe Cook and Bronco Broekman. Please attend. Powerful, powerful theory. Alex Osborne recognized how important it is to integrate theory and application. We give him credit, as we should, for a partnership that he developed with Sid Parnes and Ruth Noller, where he could operationalize this integration. But he was open to a dialogue with scholars beyond Sid and beyond Ruth. He wanted his ideas to be tested. And as a consequence, for the first several decades of the Creative Problem Solving Institute, and Bill Shepard certainly can talk to this, which, by the way, is the longest running creativity conference in the world and is returning to Buffalo State in the summer of 2025. These early creative problem solving institutes involve the leading creativity scholars of their day, invited by Alex Osborne, J.P. Guilford. By the way, in September is the 75th anniversary of his famous speech to the American Psychological Association. E. Paul Torrance, John Curtis Gowan, which makes me think if you really want to sound good, if you want to have gravitas, use multiple first names and initials. So from now on, Roger, it's G.J. Puccio, okay?
Ah, G.J. Puccio. I rather like the ring of that. Yeah.
Thanks. So as an aside, as evidence of this fact that interplay and open dialogue between practitioners and scholars, we at the Center for Applied Imagination have over 300 recorded talks delivered by pioneers in the field from those early 1950 and 60 Creative Problem Solving Institute. And in fact, my colleagues and I, in collaboration with Vlad Glavino, are publishing a book that'll come out through Oxford University Press called The Mid-Century Creativity Reader, which features never before published works by folks like J.P. Guilford, Paul Torrance, Don McKinnon, John Curtis Gowan, and the like. So with this in mind, this creativity expert exchange follows in the footsteps created by Alex Osborne, Sid Parnes, and Ruth Noller, where we attempt to successfully integrate theory and practice. And that's the purpose of the keynote, to challenge our thinking, to challenge our understanding, to expand our theoretical underpinnings of what we do on the applied side of creativity. And today's keynote squarely fits this purpose perfectly. In 2026, it will be the 100th anniversary of a book that is famous in our field, The Art of Thought by Graham Wallas. This may be the first complete description of the creative process. And our keynoter today, Dr. KH Kim's work, has focused on the neuroscientific understanding of Wallas's creative process. Dr. Kim uses the Wallas framework to reveal what parts of the brain are activated during phases of the creative process. So let me say a little bit about Dr. KH Kim. She is a professor at the William & Mary Graduate School of Education in Virginia and an inventor, get this, of 2 biomedical technology patents from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Built on the widely used Torrance test, her patented eye tracking technology is used to deliver instant creativity assessments of user-generated drawings on the internet to help identify and maximize creative strengths. This is called My Muses Questionnaire. Earlier, her assessment of sample creativity tests was featured in a Newsweek article, How Creative Are You? Subsequently, a Newsweek cover story, and many of us are familiar with this because rarely does a creativity professor reach a national and international dialogue, but her work did. The Newsweek cover story in 2010, called The Creativity Crisis, revealed a decline in creativity among Americans, especially children, since the late 1990s, which opened a national and international dialogue on the importance of creativity in education, science, technology, arts, and business. She explored a solution to the creativity crisis in her book, The Creative Challenge: How Can We Recapture American Innovation, which was published in 2016. It is with great pleasure to welcome Dr. KH Kim. As she is delivering her speech, please drop your questions into the chat box. I'll be monitoring that box. And then during the Q&A, I will be drawing from the questions that you pose. Today's talk is a precursor to her forthcoming book. The title of today's talk is The 7 Muses of the Neurocreative Cycle, welcome Dr. K. Kim.
Thank you for your introduction. Yeah, okay. Right. Should I share now?
You can, yes, by all means. Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Does it show?
It's coming through. Yep, we have it.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. So, um, I'm really honored to speak here. There are two best creativity centers in the US, maybe in the world. One is the Torrance Center, the other is the Center for Applied Imagination. And so Torrance Center is more focused on K through 12 as a training. But I believe that the Center for Applied Imaginations, of course they do K-12, but it's more geared towards adults. So they are the best, right? So finally, so I was always wanting to speak here in person, of course. Finally, uh, I got invited. So it's my one of my lifetime achievements, right? So happy. So I love the fact that it's applied imagination, right? Just like Dr. Puccio Gerard said, we have to use research findings in real life, right? So that's really important. But if you ask researchers after their presentation, how can I use this information in my real life? They don't know, really. So this is really important. So yeah, I got my doctorate from the University of Georgia. So Dr. Torrance, I studied everything about Dr. Torrance because he's my adopted grandfather, and we share October 8th birthday together, you know. So I just know everything about his work, lifetime work, okay? Now, recently, so in the earlier my career, I did that, and then later career, I have been studying everything about Wallace, Graham Wallace. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Oh. So this is high heels. Okay, so I can show you my high heels, red high heels, but so that's why I put them here. In Korea, I'm from Korea. In Korea, because the conformity plus pressure, you don't wear red, anything red. So if I wear like this and go there, everybody just looks at me. Oh my gosh, is she crazy? Like that, right? So in order to break the conformity, so you have to wear like a gray color or brownish, black, like that, right? No red. So to break the conformity, I like red. And the people, so it's especially my name is so hard to pronounce, Kyung-hee, right? I changed it into K, but still hard. So just the people call me Dr. Red. Well read too, not just color read, well read research articles 20 hours a day, like, right? Okay, so I can go next slide. Oh no, how can I not go next slide? Okay.
Okay, just click on the slide and then you should be able to do it. Click on the slide.
Or click on the arrow button.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
That's normal, but it's not really working like that right now. Okay, so I combined neuroscience and Graham Wallace. I never met him, okay, but I feel like I can feel him. I feel what he's thinking, what he was thinking at the time when he was writing this book, that book, because I read all of his articles, all of his lifetime publications, so after he passed away in 1932, and then he was still writing book, right? So his daughter, he has only one daughter, her name is May. She published the unfinished book. So yeah, so I am the president of Graham Wallace's fan club. So if you want to join, you can do that. Okay. So he also, so at the time he was, it's like a really early, like 100 years ago, right? But he was really interested in how brain works, which part, upper part. Of course, he didn't say prefrontal cortex. He said, what is it? Upper parts, lower parts, like that. But very like consistent with the current research findings. Okay. He also, maybe he studied the definition of creativity, or like originality plus usefulness. Like especially his is a little bit different thing, is originality plus usefulness or value, effectiveness or utility. But he added the concept of what is it? Social significance. He called public spirit also. So it means it is useful, but not just to you. It's useful to the audience, right? So it means you benefit a lot of others. But his lifetime goal was innovating, no, reforming education so that we will have a social reform. So not just the teaching creative development, creative process. He really actually advocated the practicing, like you just invent something real in real life or in school, so that you actually practice it, not just theoretically learning. So, okay. However, it's like, creativity is so important, right? But you all know. But whenever I speak internationally, wherever, I have to, convince them why creativity is so important, right? So I don't have to do that today. This is good. And then, so as Gerard said, the creative crisis study was on Newsweek, July 2010. But my article, so it means before even my article came out, a year later it came out, right? Because it takes time to publish. So it was people call it atomic bomb. I don't know. And then 10 years later, Creative Crisis update. I used the new norming data, total test norming data. And then I published again. So it shows a continuous decline, especially among children. I used to be a high school or middle school English teacher and a school counselor, but I'm sure if you are teachers here in the US, you may notice that children's creativity is in decline, right? So, but what I found is in Creative Crisis Update study, because I included or other, not all countries, but developed countries, UK or all those the European countries or Australia, so I compared, but I found that um, all the people all around the world, creativity decline, especially among children. So when I saw that, U.S. is not that bad still, because they even other countries are even worse like that, right? So okay, so we will. I don't know why it will come out all together. Okay. Wallace. Okay. A lot of people think that imagination is not part of Wallace's theory. That's the misconception among researchers, because they only read the 1926 book, The Art of Thought. Especially, they focus on only chapter 4. Yeah. Inside that chapter 4, he doesn't say imagination, but in all other books and all chapters in that book, you will see incubation and illumination is a part of imagination. So, okay, so this, and also it is a creative process, but it doesn't end at the verification. You go again, right? So it's a cycle. So it's a preparation, imagination, and verification. Okay, preparation, it's a top-down processing. Okay, this is brain study, but top-down means it's a thinking brain, right? Thinking, interpreting, and analyzing. Okay, that why when during preparation you have to learn a lot of knowledge, skills, and you have to get experience, so that at the end you get some expertise in some topics, right? So it's we need this top-down processing. However, okay, without imagination, so it means only because you have this expertise and you are an expert, right? It doesn't mean that you can be creative, right? No, no, I mean not you can be, you are creative because you have to have this imagination process. So during imagination, you use what you learned, right? But you turn off your this brain, top-down processing. So you use a bottom-up processing. Bottom-up processing is a so unfiltered feelings from inside, introspection, inside the feelings and the sensations, emotions, memory of sensations, or sensory imagery, like so that is so it means okay, whenever we see something, okay, I see you like that. You look at me and then like, oh, she's an Asian. She she must be good at math, but she's uncreative like that, right? And then why does she talk about creativity, right? So that's like you see it. You don't just get the sensation, visual sensation or hearing sensation. You interpret, right? You use your previous knowledge, right? So that, but during imagination, we need this unfiltered, raw, bottom-up feelings, processing, the five senses. Okay, so at the end of imagination, we just focus on we get this output quantity. We focus on output quantity, just like brainstorming. You focus on quantity first, right? So during imagination, there are four processes here. Okay, at first, more spontaneous imagination. So it means when you start like brainstorming, you just like without thinking, you can keep like producing ideas, right? And then less spontaneous imagination, and then oh, your ideas ran out, and then oh, you think about a little bit deeper or more like that. So that's less spontaneous imagination, and then oh God, I used up my brain. Okay, incubation, break, and then illumination. All of a sudden, you get something. So I wrote it here, originality first. Neuroscience shows that, and the Wallace said that, always originality first. Why? Originality is from your, so it means that you have this knowledge already you accumulated during preparation, but during imagination, you combine your knowledge together with your unique, what is it, feelings, emotions, or your unique experiences, your own personalities, right? So you combine. So that's how you make your product original. So always originality first, and then so you got this illumination. Aha, you got it, right? So then we have to test whether it's working or not, right? So verification process, top down processing again, you analyze, and then output. So at the end, during this verification, we focus on quality, output quality, then it becomes usefulness, right? So, okay. So music, okay, I call music, I changed the names many times because in my 2016 book, I called attitude, 27 attitudes. And then people say, Dr. Kim, there are 27. I can't even remember everything, like too many. So I try to condense, okay, based on research. And then so I made it into mindset or enablers. then finally I made music. So these music, so if you look at those research findings in creativity, most researchers focus on this cognition, how a creative process happens during the knowledge or cognition though. But if you look at all those neuroscience and Wallace, actually, it's not cognition. Of course, you need a cognition. It means you need the knowledge first during preparation. But what matters is just these seven muses. The seven muses are more related to your emotions than cognition. Okay, so seven muses are that inspire and drive your creative cycle. So, and then the first time, like during preparation, originally I put curiosity first for several years because so it took more than 10 years to make this framework. So at first I put curiosity, right? Because you have to learn. However, based on neuroscience, I found that before curiosity, we have to have this independent mind or non-conformity, okay? Because otherwise, your curiosity is influenced by others, social expectations, right? Because it's oh, I'm interested in something, okay? So it's just like my niece in Korea. Okay, so she's learning like all kinds of different private tutoring, like that's what all Korean kids do. But and then I asked her, she has like nine different things, and then all kinds of like, extracurricular activities, right? And then I asked her, why do you do that? And, oh, I thought she would like, oh, I like this, I like that, or I enjoy this, why? But it's not like that. She said, oh, because this is good for this, okay? Or that is good for this. So it means, okay, from parents or others said that if you study this, it's good. Like, just like in the US too, nowadays, like if you study computer science, oh yeah, you can get a better job or something, yeah, job easier. Like, so you can't really find your own curiosity and if you don't have an independent mind first. So that's why it's independent first, okay? So, and also, okay, here, after that, imagination, the first one you need is a playfulness. And then second, confidence and openness, I will explain. So during this imagination, you turn off your frontal, right? And then verification, so you use the frontal now again. So look at this, preparation, there is independence first, right? Independent mind first. Interdependence is later, always. Yes, the Wallace emphasized again, always independence first. And then you combine your ideas with others very late. Look at this. And then at the end, passion. You have to have passion to finish, okay, the entire process. Okay. Here, the first one is the independence muse. This I call it individuality embracement step. So there are a lot of drawings here, right? But I will show you. First, we have to know self-knowledge. We have to develop self-knowledge. So it's know who you are, and know your unique individuality, and then you have to try to stay true to the self. So which means, okay, look at here. Here, activate the sensory network, especially if you look at insula at the middle here. You can show from, it can show, you can see insula out from outside, but you have to go in the brain inside. It's insula is really especially important because it starts from, interoception, which means all those feelings from inside our body, right? Like good feelings, like, oh, I feel comfortable with this, or am I enjoying this? Like, you have to pay attention to your own feelings, body feelings. Okay. And then So as I said, always independence first and then interdependence. Why? Okay. The brain punishes nonconformity. Look at this. So here, if you look at bottom drawing, all these parts actually it's anterior. Can you see my cursor? Cursor, like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this here, like the above your ear here, okay, that on both sides, it's a temporal lobe, okay, but only anterior side, this side, anterior temporal lobe, and also frontal, right? Frontal, very front here. This part is this dorsal medial and this orbitofrontal like that. So this entire part we call it anterior like frontal temporal lobes, right? That's the social brain. You think about what other think about me or my ideas like that. So here the brain punishes nonconformity means okay when my idea is similar to others, then this dorsal medial prefrontal cortex deactivates, okay, similar to others. And then dopamine activates. So you're happy. But when your idea, your behavior is different from others, this did I say? Oh yeah. Dorsal medial prefrontal cortex deactivates. No, what did I say now? Okay, do I say the same or the different? Okay, the first one, okay? The first, if my idea is the same as others, similar to others, it is deactivated. Did I say that? Yeah? Gerard, did I say that?
I've been engaged in the chat box, so you just say
Okay.
what you
That's
want to
good.
say,
Yeah.
and
So,
we're with you.
okay. So when our ideas are similar to others, okay, behaviors are similar to others, I act like or I look similar to others, then those media prefrontal cortex deactivate, okay, and then deactivate, then we get what is it, dopamine, so we are happy. But when our ideas or behaviors are different from others, then those media proteins deactivate. Different from, oh no, deactivate, no, it's similar to others, right? No, different from others. Then those media cortex activate. And then dopamine deactivate, which means what? So then we are uncomfortable and then we don't feel good. That's what I mean. So whenever like we don't feel good, we don't feel good about ourselves. Those media prefrontal cortex activate. So it's a little bit confusing, right? So so it makes us uncomfortable, not good, not feeling good. So that's why we have to have this independence first. Otherwise, you can't present your ideas because oh no, like other people might not like my ideas like that. So if you think about yesterday's third presentation, it said when you use avatars and anonymous, right, without showing your identities, then people generate more creative ideas, right? That's because people don't know who I am, so I don't worry about what people judge me, how people judge me, what people think about me, right? Ideas. So then, that's better. So it's so because of that we have to have this independence, and then so nonconformity. So always like what is it? Form your own thought instead of what other people like influenced by others' opinions like that. And then always try to align with the personal values. So use bottom-up intuition first. So when you have some ideas, right, you use your bottom-up feelings, sensations, that well, and also intuition first, because intuition is based on your feelings and emotions. And then top-down analysis and think about others too, right? So here, so in this, the first step is this entire, you turn off this anterior, frontal, and temporal lobe here, okay? Because this anterior temporal lobe, so you get 5 sensations from outside. Then this anterior temporal lobe, it's interpreting and synthesizing and combining with your previous experiences like that. Okay, so here, so you more focus on sensory network. Okay, the next one is now once we have this independent mind, then you can follow your curiosity. Then you can find your own interest, right? So interest discovery step. So first, like you have to explore widely. So what am I interested in? What do I like, right? So then after that, you find all like without others external influence, right? Or then you find some topics you like, then you do deep investigation. Why? Okay. Only when it's a self-chosen topic, you are working on something that is a self-chosen topic, then dopamine increases. And also curiosity. So you are learning based on your curiosity, then dopamine activates. So here, if we look at here, so executive control network. So dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, like a little bit not in the middle, like here, and then posterior parietal cortex, like here. Okay, that because a little bit up here in the mid between this dorsolateral and the posterior parietal, there is a anterior parietal cortex. That's earlier I showed you all the sensory network, But here, a little posterior, there's important functions. So it means this executive control network, you plan something, you pursue a goal, and you have a judgment, and you self-control yourself, and it's an analytical brain, right? So it's a planner, just like Gerard, you always plan. You are using executive control network a lot. Right? So, and then here, but that is afterwards though. But when you follow your own topic, right? Your own topic, your own interest, then you activate this nucleus accumbens. So it's nucleus accumbens inside the ventral striatum. So that is like really dopamine center. Okay, the most important pleasure center is this nucleus accumbens that is activating. So when dopamine activates, you remember information better. So then here, look at this. Hippocampus is our memory section. So activates. Okay, so then you develop interest-driven skill, right? So and then you get in-depth knowledge. Okay. So before, okay, so we did independent mind, and then you understand yourself, your uniqueness, and then second, you like you explore a lot and you find your own interest based on your curiosity, you learn deeper, and then you get expertise. That's the end of preparation. Now it's a imagination process, okay? So you collected this knowledge. Okay, before that, we have to know this, okay? Imagination, memory are exactly the same in the brain. People think that memory is like what you press a play button and then you replay. That's not like that. Whenever you remember something, you have to reconstruct your memory. So it means that from here, all those and collect again. You have to reconstruct, which means what? Your memory is not accurate, and also your memory is influenced by your current emotion. So right. So more important is so it means imagination is exactly the same in the memory. Why? Whenever you imagine anything, you just combine, you collect this, then combine this again together. So just like memory. So we need this knowledge skills first, right? So that you can combine together. So then during imagination, so it's the first step is a more spontaneous imagination step. So now you have a lot of knowledge and skills, and then let's say you're an artist, and then you learned some skills like that. So and then you freely experiment with like all kind of ideas. I want to draw this, like using this method of materials like that. And then you make a lot of mistakes. So it's a playfulness is like a very spontaneous, right? So, or if yeah, spontaneous can be impulsive, a little bit, there's a borderline, right? So then when you are spontaneous or impulsive, you make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I make more mistakes than any other people, really, because I am really, spontaneous. I just do what I feel like right away. So I'm exactly opposite to who is a planner, like Gerard right there. So, but because like you make a lot of mistakes, we have to accept the mistakes, right? Okay. Spontaneous self-express using all five senses. Yeah, so it means without interpreting your senses, right? Why? Because the imagination starts with your sensation, like this. Oh, I smell something. Then you imagine like what smell you smelled this before, right? It's just like that. So and then like smell is the most important uh senses among five senses. Why? Because everything else goes to your frontal first, and then you interpret it. But your smell goes to directly to you. So you and they also say so based on smell, you judge the people's entire image. So smell is really important. And then okay, spontaneously, so it means let's say you are writing a novel, okay, without judgment, without evaluation whatsoever. You just keep writing the draft until you finish it, right? So this is without any, so then like you can keep going, right? Because it's a lot of imagination process is like, oh, is it good? Or, oh, no, this is grammatically, this is wrong, or sentence structure, like that you think about it. So it really delays, right? Then, so in this stage, you have to just accept the good enough quality. So then you can, then keep producing. So and then you practice a lot, you generate a lot of ideas. So then you develop like a skill automaticity. So skill automaticity, based on automaticity, you can do something without conscious thinking. Then you can try something new later too. So here, and then also like imagination is like it's like here, if you look at activate the default mode network. So when you are resting, when you don't do anything, or you are not focused on something, then this brain, the default mode network. So that's why it's a default. It means you're not focused on something. As a default, it activates. So we are either dwelling on the past. Oh my God, I made a mistake. Oh God, I'm stupid. Or future. I'm planning future, right? So when you think about future in your brain, you are more optimistic. You're happier. Then, but if you are dwelling on the past, more likely you're unhappy, right? But the brain's purpose is, the brain is a prediction machine. The brain uses the past experience only to predict the future and then improve the future. That's the purpose. So you are not supposed to focus on your past at all. Why? Because if you do that, if you focus on that too much, so you have a depression. So it's a default mode network. When you use the default mode network for the past, right, then you get depression. So we have to be more future. Always try to think about future. Okay? So and then we have to deactivate the exact control network. During curiosity, when we are learning, we use this, exact control network, right? But during this imagination, we don't want to evaluate anything, okay? Just produce, just having fun with your ideas, right? So we just activate this default mode network with the futuristic, not past. Okay. So eventually, we increase idea output quantity, because you keep doing it, and then you finish your draft, right? Okay. So next step is this confidence museum, less spontaneous imagination step. As you know, like you are doing draft, and then after that, like oh, I want to make a little better, or like when you have this brainstorming, right? At first, you just have just a lot of common ideas. And then after that, you get a little bit more unusual ideas like that. So that stage is a confidence muse. And okay, so confident people have a self-positivity. How do they do that? It's because if brain shows this, okay? If you look at left one here, earlier I talked about this, I was confused. Dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, that is more thinking of others, okay? What others think of me, okay? So and also when you like think about future more negatively, then it activates this one. So and also your outcome, your creative output, you have a negative predicting outcome about thinking about your, oh God, maybe it's not good, or it might fail like that, then this activates. But when you are positive about the outcome and positive about yourself, here, ventral medial prefrontal cortex activates. With this ventral striatum, inside this ventral striatum, I talked earlier, nucleus accumbens, that's the pleasure center. This is the ventral striatum, is when you anticipate something, you have really happy like that. So how do you do? How do people are confident? Okay. When we get like a self-positive feedback, then we exaggerate, okay? And then the ventral medial prefrontal cortex tells this here, posterior cingulate cortex, that is a memory for self, okay? Self-positive tells this area to save, to remember later, right? To put this information here, okay? But when you get self-negative feedback, then ventral medial cortex is not really dwell on it. So and then tells this what is it? Posterior cingulate cortex not to save, so it doesn't save, right? So it means not just confident people is not confident not because they're really great or achievement. It's more like they're inside of their mind, their brain. They are controlling, like a negative information, tone down their self-negative feedback, right? And then I put this appearance, right? I didn't know that appearance confidence is really important. Like it just affects everything, really. Like so think about this, okay? You look at your mirror in the morning, and then look at it, and then say, oh yeah, I'm too fat. I have to lose weight, and I shouldn't eat much, or I should go to gym, like that, right? So then, you talk to yourself for more than anyone. And then you say that in the morning, and then your brain accepts that, then like it becomes like not just what is it, what is it, your negative about your appearance. It becomes your self negative of yourself. So that's really, really dangerous. So and then so it means in the morning when you look in the mirror, oh my God, how sexy I look. Wow, I'm so beautiful. I'm so handsome. Like that. So that's what you need to do in order to be really creative. It's like because you have to start with the appearance confidence. Okay? So and then now like earlier we did the playfully experiment with ideas. And then now we want to have a little bit more like during what is it, the brainstorming session too, a little bit like a new ideas or better ideas, right? Trying to. And then here, because earlier we practiced a lot with this playfulness, so we got this skill automaticity. Then based on skill automaticity, you can have like a without thinking about like the specific skill, you can build onto new challenging tasks like that. So but during this time, it's really important that imagine positive outcome using this what is the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, right? And also give positive self-feedback. So I don't know, but you have used the marijuana, marijuana, right? Weed. So a lot of people say that like marijuana is helping or not helping, but the bottom line is marijuana helps you in one regard. So when artists smoke marijuana, then they evaluate their work more positively. So that really helps, right? So I'm not saying that it helps for entire process right now. Just I'm talking about this process. It's giving yourself positive self feedback on your outcome on your work is really important. So here, and then at the end, because um, I'm trying to have better ideas like that when you're writing novel right now, because it's a little bit different to playfulness. Playfulness without any evaluation or default judgment that you are doing. You are just having a lot of ideas. And then here, because you are trying a little bit more original or better, so then you have this, you are using here, right? So then bottom up, top down conflict, tension. That's the impasse. Impasse is like you're stuck on something like have you heard about like a writer's block like that? So that's here. At the end you get this. Here, look at this. So during this time, default mode network and the executive control network connectivity, they co-activate here, right? During this. So and then here like that. So uh, but it can be like if you self-negative, then it becomes a problem. It becomes just the negative and then self-conscious like that. So it's during this time, confidence is very important. And then openness. It's the end of imagination. That's openness. It's an unconscious imagination step. So it is a incubation step and the illumination. So here you look at here, cerebellum. Okay? Cerebellum is really like only 10% of like what is it? The cerebrum, right? It's really small, but we call it like a small brain like that. But strangely, it has like almost 80% of the whole brain neuron. So it's like really compacted, like what is it, folded inside. So it has everything. Like since we were born, what we heard, what we smelled, what we did, all those experiences here. Okay, it's just when even those at the time when you heard something, you didn't really pay attention, but it's here. Okay, so during incubation, oh no, during incubation, so earlier we had this impasse or tension, right? So then and embracing the tension because you have this writer's block. Oh my God, I'm really stressed like that, right? So embracing the tension because the tension is you are using too much here, not bottom up. So here, and then you have to take a complete relaxation. And then you have to let go of your goals or outcomes or anything. Okay. So then why do we do that? Then we can use the unconscious mind's unlimited memory here, cerebellum. Only when we turn off your conscious mind completely, prefrontal cortex, earlier I showed you, you completely, especially like a self-conscious, like self-focus means, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm stupid. I'm a failure. Okay, so nobody is confident all the time, right? But it's here, so that's why, especially after this impasse or writer's block, you have to turn off this, and then you turn on this cerebellum so that you can use it. But having a tension or impasse is important. Why? Because it means your brain, your brain really try to solve a problem like that. So which means taught, you have been teaching your unconscious mind that this is important. This I have to solve this problem, or I have to finish this novel. It's importance you are teaching. So that's why when you take a complete relaxation, then the unconscious mind is working for you. And then, so on self-consciously immerse yourself. So it means, don't think about, the outcome or myself. And then just immersing. So immersing in expensive imagination is really important because look at this. Yesterday, Todd's presentation, he talked about like virtual reality, using avatars, role play, right? Why? Okay, think about this. Our brain cannot differentiate between what's real, what's not real. Why? It's imagination, memory, the same, I said, right? So when we imagine something in your brain, the brain thinks it's real. So look at this. So that's why imagination is so powerful here. So in virtual reality, like when you use avatars like what, like inventors, like they're scientists, right? So then you generate ideas like more creative ideas like inventors, right? So then um, that and also role play like this. So there is role play like as if like you are real inventor. Then it helps because the brain cannot differentiate between what is real, what is not real. Okay. So and then he said this too, right? If you think you are like a sexy or handsome, and then in real life, they go out like but they talk to people more confidently. They interact more like that, right? So it's all your imagination becomes real in your brain. Okay, and then so illumination is breaking tension between top-down brain. I mean the top-down inhibition. Inhibition is like this. Yeah, like in your virtual reality, you have more creative ideas because, anything is possible there, right? So, but in reality, like without virtual like reality, in real reality, you just say, "Oh no, that's unrealistic. That's not possible. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen." Or I don't have enough resources to do that. Like all those limitations you will think about. So that is like the top-down inhibition. You need to decrease that. So that's why we turn off this prefrontal cortex and then increase the bottom of five sense excitation. So it's like the brain is like that. Like some external sensory comes in, but it becomes a little bit too excitatory. Then automatically brain controls what is that? Suppress the excitation, right? So then it has to be balanced. But during this, what how illumination happens is you need to have less inhibition. Okay, I mean it's a balance, but not really balanced there. So if we look at here, optimal surprise, because inside the brain, your illumination, aha moment is a surprise. Okay, surprise. And then, so it has to be optimal surprise. So if you don't have any inhibition at all, and then your ideas are like too weird and too like strange or too unrealistic like that, right? But so a little bit. So means at the edges of chaos, before you become really too weird, like before you become this chaos at the edge. So that is a optimal surprise. So as Todd said yesterday, risk takers produce the most creative ideas, right? So it's like that. So it's too much risk taking that you don't have any inhibition, your brain at all. Then it's too unrealistic, and then people don't like that, and then too unfamiliar to other people. For example, historically, there were artists whose work was not recognized because they're too weird or too new. But later, they were recognized like that, right? So so okay, so you have to use this unconscious brain. So now we finished the imagination. Now we have verification. So we just had this aha moment, okay, surprise. Okay, so but Gerard told me not to talk about, but I will tell you. So this entire creative process parallels entire sexual process. So creative process is based on Wallace's theory, and then sexual process is based on Masters and Johnson's their entire publication in lifetime. I studied because like this, whenever I search for articles for creativity, curiosity, yeah, and then like this, an independence or passion like that, like about maybe 75% comes out related to some creativity, okay? But the other, like maybe 25% of it comes out like it's a sexuality, right? So I couldn't understand why is because I wasn't interested in that topic at all. So why do we need curiosity? Why do we need playfulness for sex? I didn't understand, right? So, but I started and I was curious. I started reading more articles, more research papers, and then um, especially this brain studies, I compared, and then I found exactly the same. For example, I can't give you too much. For example, so right before aha moment, you have to completely turn off this. Okay, no analysis, no worries like that. And then right before orgasm, you turn off this. Yeah. So it's it has to be optimal surprise, right? So you have to turn off this. So, okay, but I don't, but I'm not talking about the male orgasm. Nobody cares about male orgasm because it's like 95% have a orgasm, so we don't worry about it. But on woman gets like what is it, less than 20%, 25% get orgasm. So it's we have to. I have to. I am. My book has been focused on this woman's orgasm. So women just think, oh my God, oh, am I too fat? Or like, do I look good? What does it think about me? Or am I sound strange? Whatever, right? So analyze too much. So you have to turn off this brain and then you can have orgasm. So it's exactly the same as aha moment. Okay. So, so here, after we get this uh, aha idea, right? We have to evaluate whether it works or not, verify. So it's analytic first. So, for brainstorming in your training, always you talk about independence, as I said earlier, but solo brainstorming first. Earlier, solo brainstorming, you get ideas first. but you have to give a specific goals, right? Goals to generate ideas or a specific problem so that you can solve the problem. So that, and then, so each individual brainstorming first, and then after that, like either seek feedback or build on each other ideas. That's interdependence, right? So during this time, we do this collaborative top-down evaluation. Then, but before that, of course, we have to build empathy. And then what is important is synergetic creativity for social significance. So it's somehow your creation must benefit others, right? So you focus on the social significance or meaningfulness of the work so that you collaborate together. Oh, no, God, I didn't finish that, but I don't know how. I don't know how to go back. How can I go back? Like that? Oh, no. Here?
If you have your,
Yeah,
here
here.
you go.
Yes. So here, if you look at it, activate the social brain. It means you're here, right? Anterior frontal, anterior temporal. So you activate social brain again. Oh no, it means during independence muse, you deactivate this. For interdependence, you need to activate this, right? So that you can understand others' emotions, others' perspective. Like the perspective taking is important for creative process, right? And also, not only that, it's because you are interacting with others, you know what the audience wants related to your creative output. So others' perspective is better here. So you need to have this social brain. And then also we are using this analytical brain again, right? So because you have to evaluate whether the aha idea is working or not. So here we activate the executive control network again. Okay. So now going down and then more. So this is the last one, passion music. Of course, we have been developing passion a little bit here. So the last is intuitive verification. We do evaluation based on analysis, right? And then now this is intuitively verifying here. Okay. So there are a lot of, if you look at like self-help books, you will find that there are really a lot of books about persistence, okay? And then they talk about this self-control, how to control yourself. But actually that doesn't work according to brain science. Why? Only when you are passionate about something, okay, that leads to persistence, not by self-control. So passion, okay. Both strange. At the time, Wallace already said that this passion is like addiction, right? And then brain shows that. I was really surprised. Like addiction for creative output. You like, so it's the entire here brains are all related to addiction. So here, so you got others feedback evaluation, right? So synthesize your top-down evaluation with the bottom-up intuition, your own intuition feelings, right? And then after that, so how do you become addicted? It's by daily task commitment from anticipated pleasure. It's like this. So for example, let's say I work on my creative activity for 10 hours a day. Okay. And then, tomorrow and then the next day, I didn't have time. So the next week I work on like 15 hours a day. So that's not as good as 30 minutes a day, constantly, or what is it? Regularly, right? Persistent. So 30 minutes today, 30 minutes tomorrow, like that. That's better. Why? Because your brain gets, what is it? It makes a habit, right? So habit formation becomes your addiction. So then, but you need to enjoy the process, because if you, oh my God, I have to finish this so that I can make money, I can be successful. but that really inhibits your creative process, right? You have to have this enjoy the process itself, and then so whenever you think of this and you are engaging in your creative activity again, you have like a really anticipation. I'm excited. That's important, right? So that's so, and then you're consistent spending your time and effort consistently, then you become really addicted. That's how you become like persistent. And then what's really important is here is this vividly imagine the beneficiary. So, okay, I have been working on this book almost 10 years, right? So sometimes I become there are moments that I become like wow, I'm genius. Oh my God, I did this, right? And then sometimes I feel, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I can't finish this. I can never finish this, and it will be failure like that. It's like always a fighting between this no self-positivity and self-negativity. Really, it's really hard, right? And then so here. But what is really powerful is just like addiction, when you're addicted to something, oh, you think about, you imagine the effect of a drug or something, right? So it's here, you use your imagine that, let's say, oh, I finished my book and then it's published, and then like what's and then the people's reaction, the audience reaction, that they read this and then they say this is really helpful. It's not just imagining vaguely. You imagine like really detailed, specifically, and what is that? Vividly with the five senses. That makes you keep going, right? So this is a really important. Whenever you get frustrated, you just imagine the positive impact of your work. That is the main thing. And then, so at the end, finally, we get original and useful creative output. As I said, this is not the end, right? You want to improve it, and then you want to make another one, similar one, the next stage. So it's a cycle. So I wouldn't talk about this addiction network. So this is the end, okay? The 7 muses of the neurocreative cycle. So we talked about preparation, right? You get expertise at the end in specific topic. And then imagination, you focus on quantity, not quality at all. And then at the end, openness, and then you completely turn off this brain. Then you get this aha moment. And then after that, do the verification together with others. You build on each other's strengths. Okay, so that's why you have to have your own idea, own strengths, own skill before here, right? Before interdependence. After that, at the end, the passion, because he, Wallace said that the passion is really necessary. Passion is the most intense emotion humans have. Okay, so we need to. So and then when you imagine something with this passion, okay, your subconscious, your unconscious brain works hard to make it happen. So this is passion is really important for the entire process, right? Okay. Oh my God. Oh God. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Kim, thank you so much. You worked so hard, and one of the things that we should definitely do for you is to share the transcription of the chat box, because like when you asked me to chime in and to help you reflect on the last 30 seconds of what you had shared, I couldn't because I was so being pulled into the dialogue that was happening in the chat box, which is a compliment to you and how much you stimulated this group. So thank you so much.
I asked specifically to focus on what I say because sometimes because it's English, it's not Korean, right? So English, my Korean is here and the English comes out, it's oppositely. So I was worried, did I talk about, what is it, the dorsal medial product cortex deactivate or activate? It's like,
Yeah.
so
Well,
then I asked you to specifically focus and then let me know later to correct, right?
well, you were stimulating all of us so much. I was beginning to look at how folks were reacting to your presentation. By the way, you did share quite a bit that is really quotable, as I could see in the chat box. So we've got a few minutes for Q&A. I've been monitoring the chat box. Let me see how many questions we can get through. In fact, I'm going to reorganize in my own mind the sequence with which I'm going to present the questions because you ended by talking about passion and the importance of passion. And one of our current graduate students, Sophie, had a question about passion. And her question is, can you manufacture passion? Linking what you said in terms of the role of play and virtual experiences where
So
the brain cannot distinguish. So the question is, can you manufacture passion? If it's so important, if it's such a driving force, can you make it up, so to speak?
So the reason that separate this, made the order, right? Independent first, and then curiosity, playfulness, confidence, openness, right? So we need I made it as a like a precondition. So it means in order to be passionate, right? So you have to be an independent mind, and then curious, and then playfulness, and the confidence, especially confidence. That you have to believe in yourself, like I can do this, I can finish this, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
so that is really important. But just like addiction, so you have to do just consistently. When you are frustrated, no, I do that too, but no, I can't do that. I need a break. And then so I just take break for days, like several days. That's not good, right? But even if so, at least 30 minutes away, consistent,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. So
And
create the pattern.
yes, parent, because you train your brain though. Okay, so that, and then with this imagination, like okay, yeah, the result, the outcome. The audience's my creations, the audience reaction
Mm-hmm.
to this,
Mm-hmm.
right? How
Mm-hmm.
much I help these people, how much I make what is it, the world a better place or specific
Yeah, I like that
one
advice.
yeah,
Yeah.
like one person, how I impact this one person. You have to specifically, vividly,
Mm-hmm.
with the five senses, your feelings, your
Mm-hmm.
excitement, like that. You have to imagine. So that's
Yeah.
the best way. Yes.
Well, and that reminds me, on my screen, Dr. Roger Firestein is next to you. And one of the things that I learned from Roger is the value of mental rehearsal, which is a way of creating your own virtual reality, reflecting back on Todd Lubar's presentation yesterday. And Roger, I know one of the things that you stress when engaging in mental rehearsal is to use your five senses, to really
Right.
picture yourself in that space and look at how your audience is responding to you. So I'm making a connection, Kay,
Yeah.
between you and Roger's work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really the only way that
Mm,
when you imagine, right? So when because you are tricking your brain, the brain doesn't know what's real, what's not real. I
yeah.
said that because of that, using five senses, you're imagining that really, really make your brain. That's a fact. Then
Mm,
the brain makes it fact. So that's
right.
important.
Yeah.
Interesting. So one of the questions that came up, which relates to a question that you and I were chatting about yesterday, but I think it was said more eloquently in the chat box today by Marcus Branch, a graduate of our program. It relates to training. And his question is, do we know if creativity training impacts brain activity in individuals?
Yes,
Does
definitely.
training, so he goes on, does training impact the amount of activation? Does it make it easier or faster to activate certain areas, or do trained and untrained people activate different areas? I think it's a fascinating question that many of us can relate to and are curious to hear your response to that.
Yeah. So you means okay, you are talking novices or already creative people, the difference you mean?
Not between novices and creative people, but you were talking about teaching and learning. When we teach people deliberate creativity,
Mhm.
are we directly impacting how they are using their brain? So you referred to activating and deactivating particular parts of the brain as we move through the Wallace process. When we're teaching people to be better creative thinkers, in a way, are we helping them to better manage their own brains?
Yes, creativity training is really effective, right? So of course it activates the specific brain areas. However, it depends on the individual too. Think about it. Like I teach like 100 people, but each individual perceived differently, right? So it has each individual's. So what is important is each individual whether they have this like a non-conforming mind, like a risk-taking, right? Risk taker, and then so they have curiosity, like all these. So as I said earlier, neuroscience or like all the brain, no, creative researchers in the field of creativity
Mm-hmm.
was more cognition, right? Of course. So that's why your training is very focused on cognition, but, they don't really think about. So they only think of the top down processing, cognition. But inside the brain, what is important is the balance and the tension between these top down processing and bottom up processing, right? So we need to uh, focus on, of course, you have to focus on cognition, but you have to top
Mm-hmm.
down. We have to focus on more bottom up processing also. So it's like if you can't take so just like a virtual reality, right? Only when you are anonymous, you can generate really creative ideas, and then you can take a risk. So which means okay, if you don't have these muses, then oh no, my idea is not good, or like you, so means it doesn't. You don't present, or you don't produce creative ideas. So we need this. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yes, definitely. In terms of cognition, you
Mm-hmm.
mm, will activate each brain areas,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, I appreciate the example that you gave of deferring judgment and brainstorming. And I can't help but think that some of what Osborne found to be effective, there were some underlining physiological aspects to it because through time, the ideas and concepts, principles, and methods that worked well remained. And we continue to use those today. And in the Scott Lawrence Mumford seminal study back in 2004, the meta-analytic evaluation of the 70 research studies on the impact of creativity training, their major conclusion was the best training focuses on models of cognition, models that replicate and help to understand the strategies that we use, the thinking strategies we use to be more effective creative thinkers. So I think research going forward, it would be fascinating to see how training in creativity, deliberate creativity, intersects with brain physiology. So lots that we could talk about. One of the great comments that I appreciated in the chat box was, I can't wait to watch this recording over again because there's so much content in this. So this has been a very rich
I add
presentation.
something though. So, creative training not only just activates these brain areas, but also what is it, neural plasticity,
Yeah.
brain plasticity, right? So it's like this. Long time ago, people thought, okay, as you get older, your I can't pronounce very, plasticity goes down.
Yeah.
Of course, like compare with like 3 years old, 4 years old children, they are like sponge, right? They accept observe everything like that. But not like that, but even you are like what's that, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Mm-hmm.
your brain still like grows. Plus this
Mm-hmm.
means even like 3 days trainings like that, your brain not only just become more creative, your brain becomes healthier. You
Yeah.
keep your what is it? Um, cognition. So I
Mm-hmm.
saw a lot of articles showing that these it's a creative activity, right?
Yeah.
Engaging in creative activity really makes your what is it? Delay your brain aging. No,
Yeah.
so you
That-
stay younger, and if your like life is really creative, right? You live healthier and longer. So that's what I found. Yeah.
That is a beautiful punchline to your presentation. I see Dr. Keller Mathers raising the roof. I think we would all say that those individuals that we know, Sid Parnes, B. Parnes, Ruth Noller, the pioneers in our field, they seemed like they were ageless. And I believe it had a lot to do with the field of study and that they practiced
Mhm.
what they were teaching. So again, round of applause for Dr. Kim. If you would drop into the chat box any positive comments you want to make to her, we'll share with her. We'll share with you the transcription. Those interested in the graduate program, Dr. Udis and I will be over lunch holding a brief Q&A session after I take a quick coffee break. But before we move into the virtual lunch and meal break, I'm going to turn it back to our MC for the day, the golden voice of Dr. Roger Firestein.
But excuse me, but you had one more question there.
I have hundreds of questions actually,
Oh.
which we won't be able to go to because of time. But thank you, Kay. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, I appreciate that. What keeps us young is creativity. And just to let you know, tomorrow is my 98th birthday. And just kidding. But I totally agree with you. And that's what keeps us young and playful. And that's one of the reasons why I continue my involvement. Thanks for the playful thing there, Sue. My involvement here at the center. So, hey, just to let you know what's going on, the graduate conversation will be happening in just a few minutes. Dr. Yates leaves the main room open for folks to have some conversations. This afternoon, we have some concurrent sessions starting at 12:15, the creativity choice, divergent and convergent thinking in marketing and advertising, 21st century applications, the science of the aha movement, and deliberate creative teams, how to lead for innovative results. Some amazing, great presenters there. Have a wonderful break. We'll see you back in a little bit less than 45 minutes. So thank you all. Thank you, Dr. K, Dr. Red Shoes. Everybody have a great break.
I'm sure you can make at least 100.
Well, thank you. My mom's 94 on Friday. Thank you.
Oh my God, then like at least then 120 then.
All right.
Meaning she
I
gave birth to you
appreciate
four
that.
years before she was born?
What's that? What's that?
Meaning she gave birth to you 4 years before she was born?
I made that up about
I
how.
like, you didn't look a day over 95,
Yes.
so you're all
So that's
good.
that's the thing about creativity. You make stuff up,
I'm
So
just I'm
yeah,
just riffing
yeah.
with you, brother.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. All right.